Hey, what's up guys? I'm going to come to you today here with a little bit of some solar. I'm kind of a DIYer solar trial and error. I've been playing with this stuff for years, so I always see a lot of people out there with some questions about, what are you doing, how do you do it, what works, what doesn't work. So I just got a bunch of stuff laid out today, and I'm going to give you kind of a rundown of what I got going. Right now on my house, I think I'm right around maybe 2,000 watts on the roof, and I'm running a mix of panels. I'm going to show you some stuff I have on the ground, but most of the stuff up on the roof, we're talking 3 different types of panels I'm running. I usually get mine used, sometimes new, just depends on what I get my hands on. The thing is too is I'm running Enphase inverters. I'm not running any centralized inverter. The reason I run Enphase is because Enphases you can tailor to each panel in a sense. I'm going to show you some of that here in a minute, what I have on the ground. The way that works, I think, is more efficient compared to a centralized unit, because of the shading that you can get on panels, or the different types of panels that you can mix and match. Enphase works really great with being able to mix and match panels to integrate into your whole system, and you're not going to lose efficiencies, or you're not going to lose powers in different ways of shading and angles of direction of where you're facing. My house just happens to face a good south direction almost exactly, so I get to play with a little bit more in my front yard. I can lay stuff out, which I'm going to show you here in a minute, of what I do. It's a play thing. I mean, don't criticize the wiring jobs and everything else. Like I say, this is all trial and error. I put stuff out here, I play with it on the weekends to see what works, what doesn't work, how it's going to work, test it, get the numbers, and just really see what's out there, what's really efficient, what's working. I got some older panels, so you're going to see some stuff here. These older panels were pulled off of a house, and I was able to pick them up. I'll just say that. I'll leave the whole story out of it, but I was able to find them on basically a Facebook a marketplace. So I was able to try to use what I could. The company that pulled them off the house actually just cut the cable, so I had to rewire MC4 connectors on all the panels, but they still work. I've tested them. They work great. Panels are in good shape, except for some of these, which what I'm going to show you now is kind of what you call a burnt panel. Now, it does still put out its rated power. So, hey, I'll use it. Will I put it up on my roof and not being able to keep an eye on it? Probably not. But it's a great tester panel to test out inverters, wiring, setups, and things like that. So I'm going to turn you around here a minute. We'll take a look at that one panel, and then I'm going to show you some more here in a minute. So this is a 215 watt, I believe a 40 volt. No, 30 volt. I think it's a 30 volt. But basically, it's a large panel. So I'm going to be playing with this one. I made a little stand for it to make it motorized. You can see the motor down there underneath. It's like I said, guys, this is temporary stuff, okay? I put it and made a little rolling cart so I can move it around, do what I need to with it. The motor is a 12-inch stroke. 12 volt DC motor, just a linear actuator, nothing fancy. Just kind of show you guys what I've got built here. Running the Enphase IQ8 microinverter. Okay, I really love these things. They're really easy to wire up and use. I'll show you in a minute kind of how that works. I'm running the actually I got a couple of these, but this one I'm running is a by SBE. Check him out on Amazon, and he has his own website, but it's a photosensor to follow the sun to make your panel go up and down with the actuator. These things work really great. The price is around $40 to $50 just for the board. Now to get the housing is about another $15. I mean, it's glass, which kind of scares me sometimes because I'm afraid I'm gonna drop it. The base is 3D printed, which isn't bad. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it works. It works for what I need it to do. So, but it works really good. I've tested this. It follows the sun, does what it needs to. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll move while we're here, but I doubt it because it just did. But, so yeah, here's what I got with the Enphase microinverter. I'm running a power supply off of 110, just temporary thing. This could be hooked up to a 12-volt battery and work just the same, but it's an old power supply that's a 12-volt, 2 amp hour or 1.5 amp hour power supply. So that's all it has to do. This thing's not drawing a bunch of power. It just needs to move like for a second here and there. So you know, you don't need to dump a bunch of power into this. 2 amps, maybe 3 max is really all you need. So like I say, my wiring, I made up a big jumper cable here for hooking into my grid. I am grid tied right now. This panel is producing power to the grid. I'm going to show you some others over here that I've got going, but real quick on this one though, if you could see it there, see the browning around the edge. This is what you call kind of a burnt panel. It's starting to really see its days, but it's still putting out. All the tabs are in really good shape, so nothing looks like it's really disconnected or burnt there. It's just more of the outskirts, but you know, like I said, it's more for testing purposes. I wouldn't really put this panel on my roof. I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna show you some others I got on the ground right now. These, now here's a catch with this one. Here's your little trial and errors and DIYers. So each panel is a 30 volt, if I'm not mistaken, around there, okay? And they're 150 watt, okay? So I got 4 of them here. I have 2 Enphase inverters tied into these, okay? IQ8s. Now, you guys are gonna freak out with this, and you're like, wait a minute. You got 150 watt each panel, but they're like 30 volt. Yes. So we're talking parallel to series with, you know, tied in together. So it's a positive, positive, negative, and negative. The voltage is up, but the amperage is down. So we're not over amping the inverter, but the inverter can handle up to, I believe, 60 volts, which we don't see any of that. You're talking, if you could do all the math you want, you're never going to see full efficiency out of it. These are older panels, the monocrystalline, or not mono, polycrystalline panels. So, but they're really great shape. They're BP panels, and BP has, I don't remember the last time BP actually made a solar panel, but yeah, but they were always great panels back in the day, very solid. But so yeah, here's the wiring job I got going. I mean, if you could really make it out, but it's kind of like a pigtail effect over here. You know, each inverter feeds to the next, and then this is just the end of it that comes off the other side. But I just tie them in there temporarily, and it goes into the next one, and then that feeds back out. Now this is just temporarily tied to the other panel we had over here. So we follow that cord, right? And that cord goes into that panel, which ties into the system. And that's what's going to give us, oh, what are we at? What, 600 watts plus about another 215 over there. Excuse the car, I've been working on the car too. But 600 plus about another 215. So yeah, it's enough to go back and look at the numbers on. You guys are probably asking me, well, how do you know what you're doing? Where are you at? What's your numbers? I got my grandson here. So here's what I have. Laugh it up, but like I said, this is all temporary testing. I'm running the Enphase, what do you call that? It's the control unit, basically. I can't think of the name. But this is kind of like my brains to the inverters. And then that gets tied into, and it runs a like a choke down here, or whatever you want to call it, to pick up the amperage draw of what it's producing. Now this is also tied into my phone, so I can look at the app on my phone and see what it's putting out. The number's been really good. I'm also running this little meter I got off of like Amazon years ago. It's been doing pretty good. Kind of gives me an idea. I could watch the actual numbers real time, and it shows me what's going on, how many amps I'm drawing, how many watts, kilowatts I'm making, production for the day. So it gives me something to kind of also look at as well. I could compare the two. Here's the catch with running this. Okay, so I have 3 different types of, we're gonna come out here for a minute. I'm running 3 different types, 3 or 4 different types of inverters. I have IQ6s, 7 plus, 7As, and 8 pluses. Now, one little catch with the Enphase Envoy. That was the little black box on the wall. It's called the Envoy. The Envoy only works with the IQ 6, 7s. If you have those on that circuit, the IQ 8s will not blend in the system. I've tried to hook them up and they don't work because the IQ 8s are I call it a floating battery backup. There's no battery, but what it does, it picks up the power from the panels and acts as a backup power unit. So that's the way those work. So they don't really coincide with each other on the same Envoy. Enphase recommends you run a different Envoy for the 8s versus 7s. But I could still pick up live data. I could still pick up wattage draw, so I don't know. It's weird. Like, they won't go into the system, but I could still see their power. So, yeah, they work in that sense. But, yeah. So, if, you guys want to leave information, have any questions about this kind of setup, things I'm playing with here, things you may be interested in, let me know. Leave me some comments on things, and we'll get back to this. Maybe I'll keep playing with some other stuff and see what I've got laying around.